Hello, degenerates. Welcome back. Let's unpack Jinx chapter 100. This chapter was not a reunion, it was a realization. Because for the first time in this series, Jaekyung and Dan finally realize what they mean to each other as they're letting each other go. Point number one, the flowers told everything before Jaekyung can. One of the smartest things that Mingwa did this chapter was show Jaekyung's presence without actually showing him. The flowers kept changing, the room kept filling, and Dan kept feeling like someone had been there. And that's because Jaekyung's care exists through actions, not words. He bought flowers, held Dan's hand pretty much every night, held on to his belongings, not because he wanted credit for it, but because he genuinely cared. And honestly, that's a huge character progression for Jaekyung. Point number two, the handshake changed their entire dynamic. The line, "the warm hands from my dreams," was his all along, crushed me. Because in Jinx, touch used to mean dominance, control, obligation. And the handshake matters because it's probably one of the first times in this series where this is true consensual touch. Dan initiates it, Jaekyung accepts it, no one's forcing anything. And then Jaekyung squeezing his hand tighter and letting Dan essentially slip out of his own hand, that just screamed, "I do not want you to go." Point number three, Jaekyung's apartment used to feel very large, cold, and intimidating. Now it just feels empty, especially when Kim Dan notices the closet and Jaekyung basically tells Dan, like, "Don't worry about it, I'll take care of it." That line basically translates to, "You still have a space here." Point number four, "You can go now." Pure self-defense. And then when Kim Dan says goodbye then, Jaekyung immediately turning away, that was emotional panic. Because Jaekyung can handle violence, pain, fighting, but emotional vulnerability? Absolutely not. And what makes this even sadder is that this is the first time that Jaekyung actually lets Kim Dan just go by choice. Like, there's no grabbing, there's no trying to get him to stay, no nothing, just you can go. And that's painful growth. Point number five. Dan is not afraid of Jaekyung anymore. This is one of the biggest changes this chapter. Dan maintains eye contact, initiates touch, thanks Jaekyung, and walks calmly through the apartment. There's sadness there, but not fear. And honestly, that's what probably affects Jaekyung more than fear ever did. Because now Kim Dan is choosing to be soft with Jaekyung willingly. And that's what makes chapter 100 hurt so much. Not because they didn't love each other, but because they finally realized how much they do as they're saying their goodbyes to one another. My God, you guys, this chapter punched me in the fucking gut. But I know that we're building, okay? Now that these two willingly have to come together, let's see what happens in the upcoming chapters. I really can't wait to see what happens. These two, they better come together, Mingwa. Mingwa, she's cooking, okay? So I'm gonna let the chef cook, okay? I'll see y'all in 10 days.